Oh wow, that highlight though, so cool. And the shadow, the little shadow here is incredible. Wow. Okay, cool. Hello world, meanwhile the stage is back with yet another album review. And this time is a little bit more personal. I'll be talking about my fellow Gemini girl, JILLIAN Rose Banks, more known to the musical world as simply Banks, and about her new album, her sophomore work, a follow-up to 2014's Goddess, the altar. Whether it's a place for making sacrifices or a place for worshipping is unknown. And if worshipping, then who? What? Herself? The goddess? Maybe the debut album built up a character around Banks, showed her listeners quick to be turned fans her badass motherfucker side, her powerful female trait, her darker side, and pretty much everything Goddess was about. Maybe the altar is what's hiding underneath. Not too entirely different, since realness and vulnerability is the key to Banks' art. Always has been, but much more real. On the cover of the album, there's a real Banks, barefaced, messy hair, caught doing some workout or after sex, I don't know. It's a more apparent 28 years old Jillian from California, rather than a mysterious female figure behind the veils in her debut album. Though her debut got her where she is and even higher. 2014 was blessed with this record, as a lot of people are sure. So what does she do here? She unveils more, but does it still very carefully, not going far away from her musical roots. What I'm trying to say is that Banks' new record doesn't entirely feel new, more like a gentle flow continuation of her previous work. And it's not bigger and more grandiose than her Goddess debut album for sure. Is the new record bad then? Not really. What I noticed first after the full first listen through is that this album feels much more expensive, complex. The production is actually way better than on the first album. For good comfort, Banks brought along Goddess creators, Tim Anderson and Al Shocks, who each have worked with the likes of Alicia Keys, Luke Lee, Lana Del Rey, and Best Coast. Talking the overall sound of the altar, it's the same brooding R&B, dark, sexual desires, etc. sound. Pretty much everything Banks is so famous for. With this, she lets us look inside her mind and her bedroom, weep with her over something, empower from her, listen to sex talks and dirty secrets, dance emotionally, and chat about ex-boyfriends being weak as fuck. This is so me, I can't even. Gemini power unite. The album is a lot about us. The opener, Gemini Feed, Sun-produced track, has quite an unexpected, quick tempo tone and robotic vocals. It's still full of darkness, but more like an accompaniment to modern witchcraft ritual. The best moment of this track, and arguably one of the best moments of the entire album, is the chorus with its drive-in hook. It gets you really good after a few first listens. The ultimate best moment of the album is no doubt, don't even try to change my mind over it, is Fuck With Myself. It's kind of sad that Banks released it first, building so many expectations from this work with it. Unfortunately, this amazing track does not really resonate with the rest of the album, but for some reason it feels like it resonates with Banks herself the most. And I say that from the Gemini perspective, of course. This track is great and probably my most favorite Banks track ever. I really wish there was more stuff like this on the album. Maybe there will be another album of remixes and some masterminds producers will make the rest of the tracks sound kinda like this one. In a good way, of course. Lovesick has a great start and great lyrics, but misses the power it needs. It's too minimal. I guess that's intentional though. Banks never was loud or bombastic, but still, I kind of want Flume to remix this. I think that would work really well. And he digs this kind of vocal plus the story. His latest album pretty much proves his obsession with it. In Mind Games, the subtleness and over intimate storytelling tells us the real Banks story, especially with this line, "Do you see me now?" Proving once again that we're deep in her dirty laundry or personal diary. The chorus of this track is actually pretty great. Emphasis on it works really good. Once again, remixed, it will be perfect one. Almost rap-like delivery and piercing electro pop on the track called Trainwreck got a lot of fans lose their minds and make this track one of the best ones for them. I appreciate the diverse production, which makes this song very different, especially in comparison to Goddess, for example. And the song has this very captivating hook again. But overall, this track feels so good for like a 50 Shades Darker or a Sexy Perfume commercial soundtrack. Once The Weeknd was actually pretty experimental and pretty underground and very, very edgy and cool. But then something cracked when his tunes started to go around everywhere. And since Banks is kind of like a female version of something similar, it could go wrong. I don't know. Trainwreck is overrated, guys. I'm sorry, but it is. Chill. It really is an overrated track. Another classic formula of a catchy hook example is on the track This Is Not About Us, with some additional jungle drum beats, and also on Judas with this really extreme Weeknd overlay effect. Tracks like Hunt or The Closer, 27 Hours, though I can say that it sounds quite fucking epic, completely blend out. The album is messy by the end of it. But let me talk about some germs on the record. Weaker Girl is beautiful. The strings and subtle Lukey Lee reminiscent beat with groovy bass line and I'ma need bad motherfucker like me line pretty much sums up the experimental mixing skills on this record. I really do dig this track. The strings gently transform into guitar on Mother Earth. Another beauty on this record, Banks' vocals with the guitar is match made in heaven. Emotional and up-close personal chorus tears you apart and make you weak for a moment. These two tracks as a duo make album's strongest point. Also, we have Poltergeist, where I like the heavier beats and the weird sampling around the chorus of the track. It's a good ending touch on the record. Weirdly followed by To the Hilt ballad. Simple but beautiful piece, once again, very emotional and intimate. I easily can imagine this being the actual ending of the album. It perfectly opposites the Gemini Feed song. I'd love that much more, but I guess Banks wanted to end her record with something more empowering. To be honest with you, the naked introspection of this album makes it really hard to talk bad about it. It does feel very, very, very much private, like a hacked, stolen laptop full of demos, very personal pictures, and some real fucked up shit in a good way. If you like Banks' first record or darker ambient-ish pieces, but also The Weeknd, Lukey Lee, and more experimental side of some big pop artists like Beyonce, for example, well, I have a good news for you. This album is probably gonna be one of the best albums of the year for you. As for me, I appreciate the work, but either it's too much Gemini personal or not enough experimental and dark for me. But yeah, I don't know. I like this album much more than Goddess though, so yeah. Unexpectedly, besides Fuck With Myself track, I loved slower and more gentle pieces on this thing. Who could have thought? Banks did really good though. I'm still waiting for that remix album to drop and for seeing her name in the 50 Shades Darker soundtrack list. What do you guys think about brand new sophomore work from Banks called The Altar? Do you like this record more than her debut work or her debut work is rather much more cool than this one. Let us know in the comments or by mentioning us in social networks. The links to all the accounts are in the description down below. Also, don't forget to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe to our channel for more album reviews and stuff about music. Practice safe sex, don't date weak losers. Love yourself, fuck yourself, whatever. Peace off.